Hey everybody, welcome back to the Doggone Positive Way. I'm Maria, your dog trainer and your host of this dog training podcast where we talk about everything dog related, cat related, animal behavior, dog training, everything. And today I want to let you know what's going on with a recall that happened last week, just to get it out there. And also some updates and some videos of Troy that happened on the 4th of July. So let's get into it. All right. So, 4th of July totally was crazy here, but I'm going to talk to you about that in a few minutes. The food recall is, let's see, right here. I'm going to share this tab right here. It is Viva dog food, and it looks like there's their puppy formula for Listeria. The shipment that was affected is lot number 21244, and they're backdating it to May 16th and going forward to the 28th of June. So if you feed this food, look in your freezer and fridge or whatever and check the dates. So I looked at this Listeria. Typically, you'll find Troy is choking in the background. He's fine. Don't worry. He's just being like a little trying to get whatever. I think maybe he has a hair or something. Anyway, so it has Listeria, and people are like, oh, what's Listeria? Listeria is usually found in like lunch meat or hot dogs or like raw milk, cheese that hasn't been pasteurized, and things maybe through processing haven't been cooled long enough, or not long enough, but just like properly. Let's share the Viva screen. So it was turkey for puppies. And it's all just raw. It's pure raw. Let's see where it is over here. All recipes. This is for dogs, and this one was for over here for puppies. There's nothing in there. There's literally no grains, no dairy, anything like that. It is organ meat. It is the bones and the meat of the animal. So I don't know what happened. Something happened in the processing plant. We'll probably never know. But I just wanted you to be aware of that. I had never heard of this food company, so but it's good to know. Okay, so we've got that. Guess what? There are no storms in the Gulf of Mexico or in the Atlantic. So yay, no hurricanes that are heading this way on the east side, which we like that. So that's good for us. But I still want you to think about getting some Rubbermaid containers and just going through your house and getting a first aid kit together, getting some water, getting some canned food, and getting like some flashlights. That's all, just some of the basics. Just do that. And you can go back and listen to last week and the week before when we talked all about hurricane preparedness and check that out. Okay. Let me do this. So I'm going to show you some, I'm going to show you some videos of Troy. This one, I think I'm going to show you this one first.
We're just on our way to bed.
Yes.
Just to get him in a room.
We were on our way to bed. The volume is low because I was really tired. Troy has been medicated on 100 milligrams of trazodone. I'm trying to remember when we gave it to him. I want to say we gave it to him around 4 in the afternoon, maybe 5, a little later, because we wanted it to be in that peaking range for him where he'd be like the most tired from it. But who knows if we were right on with that. But even with that, you're going to see, and I'm going to talk about how you just can't do with certain animals, just doing medication alone is just not enough. Okay. So let me start playing this.
Where there's only one window, because where I am now, there's the slider.
That sound is all fireworks. If it sounds like a creaking sound or a chair or furniture moving, it's not, it's fireworks. I'm just tossing treats. And this is how I train. I don't say anything. I'm using the little Bill Jack treats.
All right, I haven't said anything yet because we're just on our way to bed, or just to get him in a room where there's only one window, because where I am now, there's the slider behind me, the kitchen window, a window in the pantry, a window in the living room, and the door right there with a small window. That's our sink for the master bath. Anyway, that's another window. So our neighbors directly across the street from us are shooting off like a lot of fireworks. They're taking break right now. And then right behind us and then all around us, but the direct ones are like directly across the street, so probably about, I want to say they're at least maybe like 100 feet away.
All fireworks.
This was not happening a couple minutes ago.
When I say this was not happening a couple minutes ago, he was not calm a couple of minutes ago. He is drugged, but he is still very aware of what's going on. He can react, and he was reacting by barking. And that's why we were moving into the bedroom, because like I said, we've got just windows and doors and a slider, and it's an older home, so they're not like some new windows or anything, right? So he can hear everything anyway because he's a dog, so they are so like their hearing ability is so much greater than ours. So,
And I'm throwing treats on the floor because like I want him to run around and do a little work, and he's high right now. He has one trazodone on board. Come here, puppy. You got something on your face. You got some eye boogers. Yes.
and an eye booger. Lick mama style.
Anyway, before I pulled the treats out, he was just barking like crazy. Even with the trazodone, it was a little, it was a lot less actually, and he was easier to redirect a little bit, but he was still really high. So I was like, lay down, and he was like, what? I was like, come over here. He was like, what? So I attribute it to that, to the, there's a treat right there, right behind him. I attribute him not like really being able to focus on commands because of the trazodone.
Hi, puppy. You hear yourself? He's like, what's happening?
Let's see what he does right now. I'm not going to do anything right now. Good boy.
Did you see him go? Like he puckered his mouth. Let's see that again. I want you guys to see this.
Let's see what he does right now. I'm not going to do anything.
Stop feeding. See it? It's the start. Corners of his mouth came forward. He's looking. There's a window, kitchen window, right behind me, above the sink.
Good
Me.
boy.
Reinforce him. He doesn't see it.
I didn't mark him. I have my clicker here, but I'm not using my clicker right now because
Totally.
that was a big one, right? And he turned to look, but I'm reinforcing him. I'm doing a high rate of reinforcement, and he's looking for it, which is good. It's keeping him busy, but I'm still throwing another one. This is going to take him a minute to find it.
Okay, so I'm gonna leave his face up there. He's so cute. So what I was talking about was that I'm reinforcing him at a high rate, meaning I'm giving him a lot of food regardless of what he's doing. Even if he was barking, I would still be tossing food at him. And people are like, well, now you're reinforcing him for barking. It doesn't make sense. And I can definitely see how you guys would think that. And that's something that I thought also in the beginning. But then I started to see how it worked. And I used the methods on my own dogs when, before I used it on any of my clients' dogs. Because I know that it worked at the conference and everything was great, but I had support there. I had the behaviorists around me. I had the dog trainers around me. But, how was I going to apply this and execute it with my clients? Well, I needed to apply it and execute it on my own animals first. So that's what I did. So what happened was I started to see that, hey, you know what? Yeah, my dogs are barking at the front window in the house that I was renting. Had a front window on the corner, a front door that was all windows. And, guess what? People walked by. I was across the street from the beach, so lots of people walked by. And, it was like, what am I going to do with my dogs? Am I going to put shock collars on all of them? No, I'm learning a new way. Remember, we're not using shock collars anymore. I'm not using aversives anymore. And I have 3 dogs and they're all at that front door with all the windows. So I got a handful of treats and I just threw it and just, it spread out everywhere. So they weren't on top of each other, but, they didn't redirect to each other. When they were redirecting was when they were at the door, which was, remember, full of windows, and they're barking and barking and barking, and they are getting really highly aroused. We'll talk about high arousal in the next video. I'm going to show you one part of what that looks like body language wise, but we're talking, that my dogs redirected when they were barking and highly aroused, and they weren't fighting over the food that I just spread out everywhere, or I was kibble, just dry kibble. It was nothing high value, nothing. It was what I had. And I was like, I'm trying this shit. Let's see what happens. And it worked. And as I did that counter classical reinforcement with my dogs while they were barking at people walking by, I started to gain control over them. Of course, in the beginning, you're kind of distracting them, right? So what? You're distracting your dog. Great. That gives you an opportunity to break through to your animal. And that also gives your dog an opportunity to come into your life and be like, shit, she might be more reinforcing than me barking at these people walking by my house. Did you ever think about it that way? Think about what is more reinforcing. We think of behavior like we think everything's bad, but there's good behavior that gets reinforced. There's bad behavior that gets reinforced. So what is the dog getting out of it, that reinforcement? Are they getting reinforced because people are walking by and they're barking and the people are leaving? So maybe they're thinking, I don't know what they're thinking, but let's say they're thinking, hey, it worked. Okay, great, it worked. And every time they're getting reinforced. Or do I want my dog to start coming back into my world? Do I want my dog to start learning? Yes, hello. Of course, you want your dog to start learning and coming into your world so that you can be in charge as a manager and manage all that behavior, especially if you have a multiple dog household. It's a lot when you have multiple dogs, even two dogs. You've got to manage it. There's always management. In that way, they're like children. They're not children, but in that way, you have to watch, manage, and train appropriately. But anyway, I totally went off on a little tangent. But that's okay. So by doing what I'm doing, I'm not reinforcing him for barking. I'm not reinforcing any bad behavior. He does not even have the opportunity to. You saw what happened when I stopped giving him treats. He started to, oh, what's that noise? Let me start to react. I didn't wait for him to go full blown into it. I could have, but I didn't because I wanted to set him up to be successful. I just wanted to kind of show you a little body language, but I also wanted to show you, hey, I can redirect him. Why? Because I'm more reinforcing than the fireworks outside. And that's with the help of trazodone, okay? Sometimes you need to do both. If your dog is really, like, just think about this for a second. The science says that if you're really anxious, if you're really stressed out, and you can't learn, you can't focus, you're just like focused on what is stressing you out, and that stresses you out even. So just think about it. When you're trying to learn something new, a new task, if somebody is yelling at you, you are going to have a difficult time, if even at all possible, for you to learn that new task, okay? Not yelling at you, cheering you on, but yelling at you and, maybe degrading you a little bit, whatever it is, okay? You're going to have a difficult time with that task that you're learning. It's the same thing for dogs. So when, you're really stressed out and your adrenaline is cranked up and it's up at the ceiling, you're not going to learn. You can't. It's physically impossible, okay? It's the same thing with our animals. So I'm not going to yell at Troy. I'm not going to use any electronics on him. None of that shit, okay? Let's go into the second video.
All right. I'm gonna take a break from being like a feeder right now. Let's see. This stuff right here. They do the same stuff. He's so cute. He's very gentle too. He just has a big old meaty kind of mouth, and he's kind of drooling right now, which is gross. I know I'm a dog trainer, but it's so gross. Okay, back up. Good boy, good back. And that's one of the main reasons why I taught him to back up.
One of my favorite commands.
So this is an example. This is what I do. This is what I want you to do. This is the stuff right here. They do the same stuff I tell you to do. Why? Why do I do the same things? Because they work. Does he need medication? Yes. Oh my God, look at how cute his face is. But that's okay. It's like telling a depressed person to just take antidepressants but don't go to therapy, or just go to therapy but white knuckle it and don't take antidepressants, or something like that. It's a very basic analogy, but you kind of get what I'm saying. That was far away, but that's right across the street. Now when he took that treat, he was hard. gentle. I don't know if he can be gentle right now.
That's arousal.
Just have to remind him.
He's typically very soft mouth. But when the fireworks were happening, he did take that treat hard. He didn't hurt me, but it was definitely, I knew he was taking that treat.
All right. I'm gonna take a break from being like a feeder right now. Let's see what happens.
And another break.
There's one over there, dude. I don't know where the one I just tossed went. I don't know, but let's just hang out for a second. So these are proven methods that I use because they're proven methods. And I know his nails are long, people, so if you want to pay for have a groomer come over, I would gladly accept any donations because I need a mobile groomer and they're just really expensive. But I'm working on desensitizing him also to the nail trim. He's a constant teacher for me. He's like, ooh, it's stuck in my molars. That's funny. That was a big one. That's right across the street. No, he's being quiet. Yes.
He's still chewing on that treat. I still threw him another one. I don't care. Because I don't want to give him that 1 second opportunity to start reacting and get reactive, and then I have to deal with that.
Hey, Troy. Good boy. Yes.
I'm reinforcing.
I say good boy too.
Reinforcing the good.
Yes.
Which was the name recognition. Call his name. He looked right at me.
Yes. Nope. I don't know where that went.
Now here's where we're going to switch back to just basic.
I don't care if he gets up. After I say yes, he can get up. The yes or the click marks the behavior. Remember that.
So I'm just going back here to just basic operant conditioning, like clicker training, marking the behavior with the word yes, reinforcing with the food reward. Simple. So we did a little counter classical conditioning and some operant in the first video. I started out trying to, and then just went in a whole nother direction. But that's what happens. That's when you deal with these things that our dogs do that we want to change, like barking at fireworks, whether it's a stressor or they want to eat them, like Troy he's like, I'd rather just chase them. Thank you very much. But let's get back to it.
So once I've marked the behavior, if he gets up, it's okay. People are like, oh, but you're giving him a treat when he got up. And it's like, it doesn't.
When you mark a behavior with a verbal cue or a clicker or a pen light, that ends the behavior. So the dog sits, click, behavior is done. I already told him good. I'm going to give him a treat. It doesn't matter if he gets up. 9 times out of 10, they'll get up and reposition themselves before you can even give them a treat for the first click. So don't worry about that.
That's fine. Troy. It's like, oh, there it is. Yes. Yes.
I'm marking him for
Yes, he's so cute.
looking at me.
Back up, buddy. It's right back.
He's so close.
Yes.
He does not know anything about personal space at all.
All these rugs are for Bella, by the way.
Bella's
Bella
track.
randomly plays. He's so funny. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Did you notice that I kept saying, yeah, I was trying to mark it with a yes, but he would only hold his gaze for so long. And I want him to look at me.
Okay, I don't know if you heard what I said, but I'm really sorry about the volume. Again, I was exhausted. What I was saying was that he looked at me for like a nanosecond. So I started to mark it with a verbal cue, yes, but I'm like, yeah. And then he did it again. Yeah. And I'm like, man, if I can't even get the word yes out, then I can't reinforce him. So, I waited until I got what I wanted. And he knows what to do because we've worked on Watch Me.
Yes. Like, for more than just a head turn, because I've marked the head turn with him. You start with the head turn, but now I'm working on a gaze. Oh, here we go. Our neighbors. They found that one over there. Yes.
Tucker, say it.
I was just playing around to see what he was gonna do. I always push it a little bit. Yes.
Puckering. Arousal.
Yes. Yes.
I said yes once. He didn't hold his gaze. I waited for him to do it again. So, this is important. I'm thinking about these things as I'm critiquing my work and also showing you an example of what you need to do with your dog if you want to manage fear or anxiety or whatever is going on inside of your dog's body at that time with something that's scaring the hell out of them. But I just want you to realize that shit, I lost my train of thought, man. I'm gonna have to edit this out. Let me think about it. Okay, here it is. I found it in my brain. I just need a little bit more Cafe Bustelo. What is not happening is when he does not respond. I don't hit him. I don't give him a correction of any kind. There is no physical correction. There is no physical contact other than when I give him a treat by hand. That's it. I'm not pushing him. I'm not touching him. He's not on a leash, nothing. Okay. And if we were using aversive training, and I can speak to this because I used to do this shit. Okay. I know what I'm talking about. You're going to punish the dog. It depends on your level of punishment. Maybe you'll have the dog on leash and the pinch collar is on, or even the choke chain. But more than likely it'll be pinch collar. And if every time they react, you give them a jerk pop correction. Boom. squash that reaction. You're also doing damage. You're squashing other things, other reactions in them. Okay, not cool.
I just dude, he didn't see it. There you go, buddy.
Fireworks are happening, but just further away.
Yes.
You're going to see his gaze increase as far as duration, time.
Yes. He's snorting a little, and his tail just curled. See that tail? That's arousal. Now I'm going back to just throwing the treats. So this is what I mean when I tell people, oh, we're doing, we're doing some clicker training, and then all of a sudden it turns into something else, and we're just throwing treats now. We're just pairing something good with something that the dog perceives as stressful or whatever. I don't know about you, Troy, but I am tired. Yes, that was a nice line. I messed that up.
I was telling him how tired I am.
But I will always, almost always, not always, but I will almost always show you my fuck ups.
Yes.
So that you can see and be like, oh, she's human too.
It's important for you to see that I make mistakes too. And not only that, oh, I want you to see that I make mistakes too, but how to fix it or how to change
You kind of
what needs.
get it right. I hope this helps. Okay, bye.
Yeah, that was it. So, let me see if I can get a cute shot of just his face. Yeah, there we go. Is it clear? There it is. Okay. All right. So anyway, I need to I can't express to you more that how important it is for you to just not be hard on yourself when you're doing training, and either you mess up or you click and you give a treat and it's all wrong and you clicked at the wrong time, whatever. Don't worry about it. Just go back to basics for yourself and for your dog, and you just restart yourself. Don't get frustrated. It's okay. And I think it's really important for you to just give yourself a break and give your dog a break. All right. All that being said about giving yourself a break and giving your dog a break, you guys need to be prepared for the next holiday, which is Labor Day. And in America, Labor Day is a holiday. It's a federal holiday. There are definitely going to be fireworks in our state. I don't know where you live. It doesn't matter if they're illegal or not. I mean, it's, they put an announcement on the news that fireworks are illegal except for the 4th of July and whatever other holiday they named. But, so basically, if you're shooting them off after the 4th, it's not allowed. It's illegal. But, people aren't going to listen to that because the cops have better things to do than police who is shooting off your fireworks. So since we all know that people are going to be shooting off fireworks, get prepared. This is nothing new. We have plenty of time. Now you have, let's see, where are we? July, August, and September. You've got 2 months to get your butt to, well, actually 1.5 months, to get your butt and your dog or your cat or whatever animals you have to the vet to start talking about, different medications. So I wanted to talk to you about some medications and which ones I would recommend. And even if I recommend them, I'm not a vet. I'm not prescribing. I'm just telling you what I've researched online, just like you. It's all the same stuff. We use the internet to inform ourselves, and I use it to inform myself. And I fact check. Do I get things wrong sometime? 100% I do, but that's just being human, right? So, and we will always correct it. I will always correct it. So I want to talk to you about the different drugs that I recommend. And again, you have to do your research. We use the internet, we use Google and whatever else you guys use out there. Just do your research. This way, I feel like if you can look things up and you can investigate, look for peer-reviewed articles on the drugs, different reactions, and then talk to your vet about it. Like, have just a regular conversation with your vet. And I just think it's really important for you to be able to make a well-educated decision with the help of your veterinarian. And I feel like unless you have all the information or a lot of information on it, it's going to be hard for you to make a decision, and then it's your vet just making a decision. I think it should be a group, kind of, not a group decision, but kind of say, well, maybe he wants to give you acepromazine for your dog. I don't like acepromazine personally, and if you do some research, you'll see that I'm not alone in that, because it just it drugs the dog. It makes them very sleepy, but they're still aware of everything that's going on with the fireworks, but they really can't react because the reaction system in their body is just kind of suppressed from the drug, from acepromazine. Now, you could argue that trazodone does the same thing, because trazodone is also a sedative. But I will tell you this from personal experience with clients and also with Troy, that when he was on, before I met Troy, he was prescribed acepromazine, and I did witness him on acepromazine during fireworks, and he was so reactive, and it was as if he had nothing in him. It just had a complete opposite effect. And I feel like he was one of the dogs that they were talking about, where, he was drugged, but he was still very reactive. So he's not like that on trazodone. Now, I'm saying this to you about trazodone, but there are plenty of dogs out there who, are prescribed trazodone for noise phobia, and they're like cranked up, ready to go, and very anxious. So there is that also. And also, I recommend Celio. It's it's a gel. You just put it right on their mucous membranes. I forgot how you say it. It's oral mucal absorption. Or don't quote me on that. And I'm not even going to look it up. I looked it up last week, but it's not important. What's important is that it's very fast acting. I really like that drug. I used it on Rufus, and when he was with us, and I used it on Troy. It's expensive. Trazodone is much cheaper. Trazodone works really well with Troy. But if you have a dog that has like thunderstorm phobia, and you can't predict a damn thunderstorm, like they can see things coming in on the radar. But if you're home with your pet and there's a thunderstorm coming in, it's awesome. Just like you can do it. You have to wear gloves because it will absorb through your skin. It's a gel, like I said, and I think it's a great medication for noise phobia. But I just named 3 drugs: Celio, trazodone, and acepromazine. I don't know what the drug name for Celio is, so give me on that. But all 3 of those drugs will have different effects on your animal. So my recommendation is to, if you can afford it, have your vet stay with, have your dog stay at your veterinarian's for the day, and have them administer the medication so that they can see how the dog reacts, okay? Because sometimes people aren't comfortable with doing that at home, which I totally get. That's cool. Have your vet do it for you. And even if they record a little bit of it, if you want to see it, so that you can say, oh, you know what, this is not bad, or no way. Or I have one person who did that, brought the dog actually to Dr. Masters, and they were like, she was barking at this small dog the entire time she was on Celio. So that wasn't a good option for her. But had the person just did it when there was a thunderstorm without testing it at home, they would have never known. So it's really important to test it. If you're not comfortable, again, ask your vet, and you have to pay for a visit or whatever, whatever needs to happen. And I'm telling you all of these things because it's really important to be proactive. Make sure you're administering medication soon enough. A lot of people are like, well, I don't really like when my dog is drugged out. This is not about you. This is about your dog. It is about you in that you have to deal with the fallout of you not medicating or not medicating on time because you're apprehensive. And I have had people give just half of the dose. Give the whole dose. And that's why you need to test it, okay? You have to test these things so that you're going to feel more comfortable, because as humans, we're like, oh, it's all about us. And it's not. It's about your dog and the comfort of your animal, period. Do it prior to, if it's going to make you feel better. But mostly I want you to do it prior to, because it's about your dog. Okay. It's not about you. It's not about us. It's about them. We need to get that straight. Okay. And once you have that, you can pick and choose which medication you like better. Now we're talking all pharmaceuticals. Why am I talking all pharmaceuticals? Because sometimes you need a pharmaceutical, period. We have CBD oil. We have Elevet. I love Elevet. I use it, but it wasn't enough for Troy. I've tried it on him for this. It is good for him for just an overall kind of calmness. Some dogs are awesome on it. You give it to them and they're like, oh, thank God, just take the pressure off. Okay. But some dogs aren't. Just like with humans, it's the same exact thing. Some dogs react to it. Some dogs don't react to it. Some dogs react well to it. Some dogs react horribly to it. So you've got a range. So always remember that range, if not so black and white. Okay? Contact your vet about medications. Where did it go? It disappeared. Here we go. Keep your pets inside. Make sure that their ID is up to date. Okay. Take this opportunity to train. Feed your dog high value treats. I was using the Build Jack treats. Troy loves those things. You can dehydrate liver treats, or even not liver treats, chicken. Like if you cook chicken breast, save some, throw it in the air fryer, dehydrate it. Use enrichment toys like a lick mat, something to that effect, Kong toys, and exercise them during the day also, so that they're also tired. That's also physical exercise is also enrichment. Okay. Create a safe, cozy space. Like I was saying, we were going into our bedroom because there is only one window. We close the door to the bedroom. We have an AC going, we have a fan going, and we have the television on that's just playing a show that has a lot of different background noise going on. So there's nothing really quiet. And Troy fell right asleep, like no problem. He fell right to sleep, just like a little baby. We slept all night, didn't react. And that's what we did all weekend. And I will tell you that, first of all, those videos were a progression in his behavior. I hope you realize that just working that little tiny bit, I got like a nice long, watch me. without even saying anything to him. You don't have to talk to your dogs all the time. Just work with them. Just go into their world, let them come into your world, and they will learn how to pay attention to you. Be more reinforcing. Be more fun. Be more valuable to, the people around you and to your dogs. Like totally just do it. I also like having their crates, if they're in their crates, to kind of do like more of that coziness in there, maybe have some extra thick blankets. This is also another reason why I highly, highly recommend plastic crates. You want that coziness, you want that den-like feeling, and you can do that. And that's really it, you guys. This was a long one, but I thought it was important just to give you different tips. I really appreciate you listening to me talk about all these things because I know it's helpful to you. I also, again, know it works. So I'm not making this up. This is science. It's not made up shit. And just let's get you guys working with your pets. And the other thing that I wanted to say is that you don't have to use force. And again, you guys know I'm a full-time wheelchair user. I have multiple sclerosis. I can't like be forceful with my animals, and I don't want to be, but even if I wanted to be, I can't do that shit. And my point is that you don't have to. You can train your dog without touching them in a forceful way, without correcting them in a forceful way. So enjoy the rest of your day, and thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It's free. I'm on Apple Podcasts. I'm on Spotify Podcasts. I really appreciate your support. You guys are awesome. You can reach out to me anytime, DM me. You can find me everywhere on social. I'll have links in the bottom. All right. Thanks so much, you guys. Bye.